Hi, my name is Andre Kent Jr., United States of America Sovereign. And I was just making a video over at the Homage Network and the Achievers Report, where the Achievers Report is our overall umbrella. And the Homage Network is the subsidiary umbrella under the Achievers Report and helps us manage our business. So on the biography, it is owned under the Homage Network, but it is operated independently and externally, which means all the control itself is in the biography. At the very basic point of the biography, in the biography, to sculpt our story and craft our story from an area of excellence and brilliance and legacy and ancestry, we decided to call it the biography as if the biography could make it on HBO Max. If it can make it on HBO Max or Showtime in the way that we craft our story, then my goal will have been completed with the biography. It's not a autobiography. It's just a biography because most people grow up in the church. Most people grew up in a kind of more aggressive environment, from the Civil War to two World Wars to the Cold Wars to the Indian American War to the Civil War, World War One, World War Two. You know, all the different pieces of hell that came through the biography that we learned about in the classroom, learned about in school, where some people suffer from slavery, racism, things that you would find in the Blacks and Wax Museum in Baltimore, or things that you would be taught in a history class, or things that you would be taught in a museum or the Smithsonian. That is my whole purpose with the biography, was to create a story that builds legacy, it builds foundation, and it was to craft a story of intelligence that can be watched for years to come on Showtime and HBO Max, to where everybody threw in a piece of the story, you know, that of our membership. And we wanted to move the biography up to La Chateau de la Roche in Alpine, New Jersey. And there we wanted to make sure that Ancestry.com kind of pulls our story together. We want them to pull our story together into a masterpiece of a film or a series, like they would do a Game of Thrones, or, you know, House of Dragons, or how they did Taylor Swift's biopic, you know, to an extent, on her touring. We wanted to build a story of culture. We want to build a story that has depth to it, something that Barnes and Nobles would be proud of. We call it the biography because they're in the biography, it's like a huge label. It's like I said, the Homage Network, the Achievers Report is like a family country club. Well, with the biography operated externally, it's more like a museum. It's more like uh, the Biltmore estate, where we tell a story and craft a story of richness, wealth, comfortable, you know, and it gives us a place to have these uncomfortable discussions. It gives us a place to retreat. It gives us a place for therapeutic responses, you know, to traumatic past and traumatic events that have happened in our past. And, you know, my background is therapy and medical and healthcare and business. So this was a perfect opportunity, because I treat the biography like a completely separate product. If I had to put the biography externally, it would have its own master's degree or doctorate degree to it. So it's not an autobiography, but many people grow up in the church like that. And because it's such about legacy and ancestry, you know, I decided to move from the Homage Network levels 1, 2, and 3. Level 1 was the graduates of Aiden Griffin High School and Pitt County schools, and we even extended it a bit out to some of the alumni of East Carolina University, because that's where I also went to school after my championship wins and stuff, which is very important to understand eventually. But they needed supervision. Level 1, 2, and 3 are all level 7 projects of the Homage Network that are inactive through the biography. In the biography, we also built a Major League Baseball stadium that's kind of built more in the style of Jackie Robinson in 42. So in 42, that was one of my favorite movies, favorite baseball movies, including that, Angels in the Outfield. You know, it gives us a stage where we can tell stories of different races and cultures and backgrounds and ethnicities to actually pull through a collective bunch of stories, not tell one story on one person, but as a collective group, we have multiple stories, anecdotes, tales, storytelling, all that stuff that brings together a formal company. And it brings apart a formal portion of our company where we can give out grants, give out scholarships. We can pull together like it is a expensive country club or an expensive museum that tells our story and paints our picture and paints our legacy. And that's what we kind of wanted to bring to the biography. We wanted to bring some substance to it where we don't have to get up every day and go hard. We have to, even though we have to be accurate and precise with the things that we do allow or require. But I didn't want to take up more than 10% of someone's year unless they wanted it to take up more than 10% of someone's year. So I built assets up under the portfolio, including the Major League Baseball stadium, that kind of tell us a little bit about our legacy and allow us to film certain shows like some of the popular discussions were HBO Succession, HBO Billions, some of the tours and stuff that Netflix and HBO hosts, where they do live tours and they put them up there on streaming channels. Some of them we have movies, short films. We have some of everything that can come out of the biography, but it's more of a tempered taste. It's more of a tempered audience, and the biography itself is worth approximately anywhere from 30 billion to 60 billion. And each member themselves as individuals is probably approximately the max that you can be worth off of the biography is about 7.5. I ain't gonna say it was like, I want to say it was like 4.5 million or 7.5 million. With the church, the biography also has a separate independently owned and operated church. It's owned by the report. However, it is also operated independently and externally. It has its own plane. It has its own. It's like a chapel. It looks like a chapel. So with the biography, including with the baseball stadium, like I said, it's probably worth anywhere from 30 to 60 billion. And we wanted the headquarters to be Chateau de la Roche in Alpine, New Jersey. And we wanted to also build a food bank inside, have a food bank plan. We left the Scouts organization, the new rendition of the Road to Eagle inside the biography. We also, a simple reason to eat cake is a ball. It's a grand ball for, just because we wanted to put something on that represents some of our culture, our youth, and it gives a chance for our team members to come together and work on a collaborative type of teamwork project and event. But I just thought naming it the biography was so cool because it allowed it to go in so many different directions and so many different stories based off the membership and some of the stories that the membership will be able to tell over time. Without just the biography, but putting all the other projects inside, like church operational plan is a way to build a church, build a sustainable church. Global church etiquette is a full masterpiece of an album for the church, Africa. It's for the South, United States of America, Bible Belt. Global church etiquette is not just teaching us church, but it's a film. It's a film as if you're on tour and we're paying our tithes, paying our taxes, and paying our offerings and stuff out. But it is a full mobile tour worth about 75 billion or more. So the biography together is probably worth over 100 billion just as the biography, but it's also in joint collaboration and alliance strategically with the state of North Carolina and the federal government. But we called it the biography for those reasons, and we want to be really comfortable with it and show an example about our legacy and our foundation and what we bring to the table as people of, not only people of color, but when you get to the Homage Network, you're going to see how important it is to keep aspiring to win championships you know, what championships can bring you, what trophies and titles can bring you, what achievements can bring you through our portfolio. That's the biography.